1, 2, 3.
Sink.
Yeah, Andrew doesn't need to say sink. He's in the same room as me. It's not important.
Well, that's just because Andrew's weak.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
I called you weak, boy.
I am inevitable.
Yeah. Okay. What is so fun? What is so fucking hilarious about homosexuality? It's hilarious. It's the funniest thing. Calling somebody gay is the funniest possible thing to do. And like everyone knows that it's not bad to be gay, but it's just so I think it's just the word gay. I think it's just the word gay. It's just so much fun to use in conversation. It's just so hilarious, and I love it. I love gay people.
Chris,
What?
that sounds pretty gay.
Yeah.
Okay, mate.
I don't know, sounds pretty gay to me. All right, that's the beginning of the podcast. We're keeping that. That's way too funny to not keep.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I am Christopher, and this is the Zoomercast. Everyone else, introduce yourselves all at once.
I'm Andrew! Hola.
Yeah, okay, we have everyone here that was with us last time, me, Andrew, and Lily, but we have yet another new co-host. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm a person who lives. My name's Connor.
Okay.
I exist.
I exist on this
I
planet.
I do not
only
exist.
to
Paid
suffer.
before existing.
I do not
All right,
exist.
today
I
we are
am.
going to be talking about anime and cartoons. Does anybody have any? I wrote some notes for this episode. I don't know how in handy they'll come. That was a weird way to phrase that sentence.
Ah, yes. Very handy.
Come.
I don't know how in handy they'll come. But I guess it would be best to just start with like some definitions. How does that sound?
Okay.
Where's Yu-Gi-Oh?
Definite. Okay.
Okay, so I've written down, I define anime as any form of animation, though I don't use it that way in conversation because most people use it to just mean Japanese animation. And I actually think that I'm probably gonna change my thesis here because, as long as, like, for the longest time that I've been using the word anime to mean, like, any form of animation, a lot of people, like, it doesn't change... What are you doing? It doesn't change Andrew's like playing with this piece of string he found on the floor.
It's incredibly interesting.
I bet it is. It's like that one episode of Malcolm in the Middle where Francis and like all the other guys gets trapped in the log cabin or whatever, and they like almost brand each other over the. Do you remember that episode?
That's an excellent episode.
It was a great episode. They all got mad at. Okay, I'm getting way off topic. Malcolm in the no, I'm not, because Malcolm in the Middle is the best anime of all time.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Shrek.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, second best. So, just play Smash Mouth over some Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
You've got it. Right there,
Basically
you got
Shrek.
it, Chief. So
They're the same thing.
I'm probably in the future, like, I know it doesn't make, I've realized that it doesn't really make any sense for me to use the word anime to mean any form of animation because that's not what it means to like most other people. They use it to mean like Japanese animation. So I think I'm just going to concede and use it in this podcast because like that's just what feels natural to most people and to myself included. I just think that it would be easiest like if everybody used it that way, but that's not the way that people use it, and it would probably be more hassle to like convince everybody else to use a word differently and shit and blah. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Well,
what about you guys? By that nature,
yeah, like,
cartoons would also technically be anime, but I'm making a distinction here between like Western and Eastern.
You know,
I
'cause,
mean,
like,
the wonderful anime Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
They quite easily got people to start using their weird language, so I'm pretty sure you could just
Hell
get
yeah.
anyone to use.
Oh man, do you
Well-
remember that one episode where they went around the world and they saw Stacy's cousins and they sang a Japanese song? That was fucking awesome.
Bro, remember the Aglet episode?
Ah,
I
no,
knew what an
don't.
aglet was
don't.
before
Don't,
that
because
episode.
Dr. Twins made the forgetting it.
Anyway, so like the thing about anime is that like Japanese animation has a certain look to it, and that's why people differentiate anime and cartoons, like Western cartoons,
Yes.
because they're
Well,
different.
I mean,
the style
also
is
they
different.
speak Japanese.
Well, that too, but like
Potato,
in
potato,
a general
Japanese English.
sense.
What's it matter?
Like if like you looked at it without any audio, in the general sense, it's the style of animation that people compare. So anime is the Japanese animation style. So you can have an like a cartoon that's styled like an anime, like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So is that an anime or is it a cartoon?
It's a cartoon it's an anime-like cartoon, and so that's kind of where the
Yeah,
lines
like,
kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, like that's what I've always been really interested in, is because like there are anime out there, and again, like I'm using anime to mean like considered Japanese cartoons. There are lots of anime that are Western inspired and have Western art styles. Like, I don't know if you've seen Panty and Stocking, but it's an anime made in Japan, totally like has nothing to do with Western animation, but like it literally looks like Powerpuff Girls. It looks more like Powerpuff Girls than like any other anime.
There's a Powerpuff Girls anime too, so it's
stuff
like
Legend of Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender that looks more like anime than most Western cartoons, like than like Steven Universe and stuff. So like it's like obviously it's if we consider it to be like a spectrum, then like there is no
Anime is a spectrum.
then like there is no like cutoff point, you know, because you like making a cutoff point on a spectrum, it's like, you know, there's always going to be people who fall through the cracks on either side, which is why the best thing that we can do is to either make an overarching generalization of like what each one is. So like cartoons is like generally considered American or Western or Western styled animation, and anime is considered like Japanese or Eastern styled animation. So and I think that's why I was originally I decided to start using anime to mean any form of animation, because I just figured that would be easiest, and I'm still saying like it would be easiest, but it's also made it really difficult for me in conversation because I have to constantly clarify myself. So I'm probably just gonna conform to the norms.
In the great anime, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
When anything is an anime, nothing is an anime.
When anything is an What's your opinion on this, Connor?
Well, I kind of agree with you as well. Animation, I find it like a style, not so much as a like a location of art. Like, I agree, Avatar is definitely, I consider it an anime. It has a style of like anime like.
So like I'm gonna, well, I don't know, you haven't seen Panty and Stocking, I don't think, so I'm gonna send you a picture of it.
Okay.
I need to move my keyboard. I figured it would be more. I put it like in between me and Andrew.
Why? Why would I need to use
know why, yeah.
keyboard? That makes no sense.
You'll each share a side, dude. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa there.
want to know a
So
show.
I'll send you this picture. Hang on.
Yeah, this looks like something out of Japan.
Yeah, I guess. But like it. Hang on.
You're gonna have to put a Jeopardy waiting
It's got
sound
kind of
here.
like a Western style, but it's still.
They actually in the show they switch up the art style like a whole lot. Like a lot of it, like there's they'll like deform into like mega chibi characters, and sometimes they'll just be like and sometimes they'll be like super hyper detailed like traditionally anime characters.
You know what's really weird? When they change up the voice actors in like the middle of the thing, and that just throws me off.
Oh yeah, they did that all. They did that. Okay, I'm sending it in show notes. So this is a picture of Panty and Stocking, the characters.
Yes, I haven't seen it, but I've seen those characters.
So,
That's just the Powerpuff
I think
Girls.
I think just like based on like body types and I think it looks more like Western animation than like most other anime.
Here's something that blurs the line.
Is this?
This is.
It's Powerpuff Girls.
It's a Powerpuff Girls anime.
What is? Wait. So this is okay. So this is.
But does the name of something make it definitively something that blurs the line, or is it the art style? Because just slapping
Yeah,
the
like,
name
are we gonna? Yeah, like, so, like, should we define it based on art style, or should we define it based on like where it was made, or like?
No, look
what
at this art
company
style. It's
made
more
it?
cartoon. It's more has a more cartoony style almost than Like,
yeah, I guess.
It still looks very anime.
I think.
Yeah,
it
I
looks,
think it's.
I'd say it looks pretty anime. I think the nose is. I think a lot of the time in like Western animation, the nose is a lot more pronounced.
Yeah,
whereas
that's
in
true.
Japanese anime, I think that's like a big point. And yeah, like even in panty and stocking, the noses are really small. But like, I guess like my point here is that you can have like a Japanese studio create a product, where the characters speak Japanese and it's intended for a Japanese audience, but like it's a show that looks just like Steven Universe or like Amazing World of Gumball, So like, should we say that that's anime also? Or
I don't.
so like. And like I don't know the answer to this, Like I'm trying to think of like
it's
or,
I don't think it's really something
like, Connor,
that
you said that you wait. What was that?
it's something I kind of actually think it's something you can't really like.
You can't define.
Yeah, you can't really define.
It's
Yeah.
too powerful.
Yeah, and like this is the other weird thing is that like it's really difficult because like you can only kind of define things or when it comes to this, like we can only say like, oh well, yeah, this is anime or this is a cartoon. By comparing them to other shows that we have previously defined as anime or cartoon, So like, if we say I think, and I agree. Connor just sent a picture of Amazing World of Gumball.
Yeah,
But
you
like-
see, like
but
if
like,
they do a style like that, does that turn it into an anime, or is that still just a
yeah.
Western culture?
So like I think that the best way, if you ask me, I think I mean I guess a pretty simple way to do this is like if it's in Japanese, then it's anime. If it's in English, then it's a cartoon.
What if it's in Korean?
If it's in Korean, then there's another word for it. I don't know. I mean, like the way that there might be other words for this, but like I guess. This is how I would say. Cartoon is Western animation, anime is Eastern animation, and
Then we have to draw a cutoff point at. Are we talking like Chinese, Korean, and
I think
Japanese?
I would say,
Or are we
I
extending
would
that
say
to like
Asian,
the Middle East?
I would say Asian cultures. I would consider Eastern. I think, and Western is like Canada, America, I guess Europe too. I mean, very like our culture is very much derived from other European cultures. So even though like geographically they're not as far west as we are, I guess I would still say like that could be considered Western,
But if
I
you're
don't
taking
know.
all that into account, I mean, like Russia reaches as far geographically east as
Yeah,
Japan.
that's actually
so
true.
if you make a cartoon in Russia, is that anime?
But there are no cartoons in Russia.
Yeah, there
Russia is
are.
devoid
It's
of
just
cartoons.
the only cartoon from Russia that I've seen was a Gravity Falls ripoff.
Was it the
Duh.
fan made season 3?
No.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I saw fan made season 3 and it was in Russian.
Duh.
No, it was like it was.
Andrew, say something in Russian.
Привет, Raja, motor. I know very
Super
little
привет.
I don't
Russian.
understand you.
Well, I mean, Raja is radio, motor is motor.
Wow.
Wait, did you just say like Russian motors are
I
good
said
or something?
Russian radio motor. But then I also know Malchuk, that is boy, Mushina is man, and Zhenshina is woman.
I know that Stalin means Iron Man. Wait, no.
Stalin
what
means
does it mean?
hunger.
Man of
No,
Steel.
No, it means. What does it mean? It means like
Man-
steel
Man of Steel.
or man. It means man of steel. Stalin means man of steel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did I did Russian on Duolingo for like a week.
No.
No,
But then
he's
I'm
coming
like,
for
It's
you.
French or the trench.
It's Spanish or you vanish.
It's Spanish or vanish. Yeah. So, yeah. I think language is definitely like a really big part of it. But assuming that there's a show where like they co-make it, like at the same time that they're producing it in Japan, they're all in Japanese, they're also producing it in English or whatever other language. I'm sure shows like that have existed at some point.
Well, I mean, then if you take
maybe.
like Steven's Universe and put it in Japanese, is it then an anime?
Yeah, I think the way I would say is that like if it's it's the original language that it was made in, because like if it's dubbed or subbed, then you have to switch it up. But I think the best way that we can, that we could like define what is anime and what is cartoon is just by going on a case by case basis, I guess, and like looking into all of the factors. And I guess, and like art style would probably factor in part of it, and I think language would be like one of the bigger factors. But like, yeah, there's definitely a case to say that like Voltron or Avatar: The Last Airbender or Legend of Korra could be considered anime, because they do really take a lot from that style of show, and especially Avatar: The Last Airbender takes a lot of inspiration from like Eastern what do you call it? Eastern ideology, and like the world is very much themed after how each of the air nomads are based off of Buddhist monks,
Like
the
general Eastern religion and culture.
Yeah, like the culture that's really on display is very much based off of entrenched in Eastern culture. So even though it is in English, I think that there's like a good argument to say that Avatar: The Last Airbender is an anime because of the art style and because of the culture and the kind of like lessons that it teaches, I suppose, and how that's more similar to Eastern culture than American culture or Western culture. So there's an argument to be made there. But like it aired on Nickelodeon, the characters are speaking English, so I think I would say there's definitely a spectrum. I would consider it a spectrum, but for me, I would like place things on that spectrum of like anime to like absolute anime to absolute cartoon, based on like a variety of factors, and like taken on a case by case basis.
Absolute cartoon is like Family Guy, and absolute anime is like Naruto.
I guess, yeah.
That seems like a pretty.
That's
good
the scale.
so
That's just that's the scale from A to B. Then what's the in
The closer to
between?
Naruto you get, the closer you are to an anime.
I guess. The bigger
What would the in-between
the bigger
be?
the eyes become. Well, actually, no, they're big eyes in both cartoons and anime.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's really, you can't.
The less the nose, the more the anime.
It's the nose. It's all about the nose.
I mean, I actually looked up a picture of Toph, and she has a very defined nose. Like,
yeah, actually, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the characters have pretty defined noses.
So that's like
So
the
I
in
really
between,
think it might
like
be,
in between the freaking Family
it's
Guy.
the nose, guys. It's the freaking nose. That's God.
ah,
God.
No,
What is his nose?
Kill it!
What did they do to his nose? Ah!
I don't like
no,
it.
Peter.
Peter, get out of here.
Oh, Peter, no! Look at his crotch! His feet, oh my God! Oh, wow, that's...
Someone get film theory in here. We need to decipher
I need to
the
bleach
size.
my eyes. This is an actual episode. These are actual episodes. These are actual screenshots from the show.
Wait, really?
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is an
There you
actual. This scene right here. Peter Griffin just got plastic surgery to like make his eyes gigantic and anime-like, and they made a joke out of it. I hate that I remember this, but like these are not photoshopped. Well, I know the second one isn't photoshopped. The first one might be photoshopped, but I mean,
No,
Family Guy is so
that
weird
isn't
that it's very
photoshopped.
possible that it's not.
Family
That
Guy
is-
is weird.
Honestly, with Family Guy, you don't know. You should just assume that yes, it's real.
See, this
Did
is
anyone see
this
the
is from the
episode
same
where
episode.
Family Guy becomes an anarchist.
No.
That is my personal favorite.
Everything changed when Stewie Griffin attacked.
But no,
Oh God.
it's a great episode. Like, I would recommend it.
What was that? I heard Discord sounds.
CJ
it's
joined and
more
left.
anime Peter Griffin.
Oh no.
Is that real or is that fake? I can't tell anymore.
I really can't tell. It's amazing because Family Guy is so fucking like off the walls all the time that like I literally can't tell if this is anime or not. I literally can't. I can't tell if these are actual screenshots from the show.
My brain is mush.
Don't matter.
Let me look at some of my other. Let me look at.
Okay, that's fake.
Let me look at these notes.
Yeah, let me look at some of my other notes.
I wonder what I have in mind.
What? Yeah. So okay. I mean, does anybody have any more thoughts to give on like how we should define what is anime or what is a cartoon?
Nah.
Connor?
I think you've covered it.
Yeah, I think we've covered it plenty.
Got a lot of quotes.
Quotes from what?
Well, a lot of people. Like, hey, my dirt came with a free stick.
Who's that a quote from?
Mary Gernetsky.
Yeah, like anime starter pack. It's Peter Griffin as One Punch Man. And Chris Espinos.
This makes me angry.
Genos.
This is actually hilarious. Okay, oh my god. Oh, here's what makes anime appealing? And I guess I was writing this. Oh, Joel just commented. Does he wanna?
You want in? Yeah.
You want in?
What makes anime appealing?
I think
I don't know.
it's the same of
Weebs.
how like cartoons are appealing, like the character designs, the story, the animation, the voice acting. It all kind of factors into what makes a good show. So if an anime has terrible,
Joel says I'm good with playing Minecraft.
You see, while all of those are good points, I would like to offer a counter argument, and that is a very simple argument.
Is it
it's in
fan
fact-
service?
It's 2 words. It's anime thighs.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say fan service because both are valid.
Bro, listen here, Chief. I'll give you some fan service real quick.
No.
Hold on, it's loading.
I can find
yeah,
good fan
like-
service, guys.
That's weird.
Give me like 3
What
seconds.
even?
I don't know.
That I don't know why, but like that shirt just makes me really uncomfortable. Like I don't like it.
Excuse me, what degenerate made Minecraft into an anime?
I don't know why, but I don't like I mean I get that it's sexy and stuff, but like it just makes me uncomfortable.
Get rid of it. Oh, stop it.
Whoa.
Burn it.
Oh, boy,
That's a
here we
gif.
go. Joel doesn't even have to be in the podcast to get
It's
us all.
Diablo.
Here you
Joel
go.
doesn't even have to be. Joel doesn't even have to be in the podcast to get us all distracted. What is happening?
It is a Japanese girl spitting ketchup onto French fries.
She's like, I mean, all of this is.
Ah! Ah!
Oh my god! All of this is going in the show notes, but like, Jesus Christ,
Ah!
this
I'm
is like,
so
what is
confused.
happening?
Why?
I want this
Why
gone.
are you? No, stop it!
It's cursed.
Stop! Why does this exist?
Ah!
That's bad. I don't like that
No,
one.
she has a shovel.
She's got a
She's shoveling ketchup into a gigantic tub of fries. Wow!
So cursed.
I don't know. Okay,
Bruh. Is that,
what was I saying?
I don't know. And I'm scared.
Oh,
What makes cartoons and anime appealing?
I had points, but
Yeah, Lily, bring up those points, please.
I will restate my points. It's the same thing about anime. It applies to cartoons. Is that the show itself needs to be appealing, like the animation, the soundtracks, voice acting, the storyline. Like if it's just plain.
You mean just that like the act of watching it is fun?
Yes, if it's not appealing,
Yeah.
then it's bad. Like it shouldn't.
Yes.
Like saying what makes anime appealing is like saying what makes a cartoon appealing. They should be judged the same way, or what makes a show appealing.
I totally agree. Although, then you have to ask then the same applies to like live action shows and stuff. But what makes anime in particular appealing?
God damn it, Joel.
Or any form of animation in particular.
Maybe because
aside,
it's maybe because it's foreign. Like I don't.
that's actually
I
a
guess
pretty good
I shouldn't
argument
use
because
it is.
anime, like a lot of people are into
Japanese
like
animation.
Japanese
Like, Japan
Eastern
is doing
culture.
much better
That's why
than we
K-pop
are.
is super big.
Yeah, that's true.
Like a lot of people are just really into, I guess, Japanese culture because it's something
It's different.
very, very different from what we have, especially here in the West, where you're getting cartoons and stuff like Family Guy and The Simpsons.
Yeah, like there's no doubt that there's much, like, when it comes to Japanese animation, and like, yeah, from now on I'm gonna use the word anime. I'm gonna use the words anime and cartoon to distinguish the two. So like you like, definitely there's more like I would say serious anime, or anime that doesn't I guess it doesn't pander towards children. A lot of a lot of shows, it's more towards like teenagers, but there are also lots of shows that can be enjoyed by adults. But when you think about cartoons, nothing springs to mind, like, I guess Simpsons, Family Guy, Avatar: The Last Airbender, stuff like that. But like, when you think about like what makes those shows so memorable, you think of like the moment to moment gags, you know, like the reason people love The Simpsons so much is because it was like consistently funny at least when it was popular. It like was like every episode was funny, it was witty, it was like clever and stuff, and it never took itself like super seriously. Even if there were like episodes where more serious things happened that made you like care about the characters, it was all like if you lost that like moment to moment gag reel, like the show would be dead, you know? Whereas if you take a show like
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, good.
I was gonna say My Hero
like
Academia,
Attack on
but
Titan.
okay.
And although I only saw like one season of it and then I kind of stopped, but like Attack on Titan from season 1 is like, it's focused on it's more so focused on like the characters interacting with the world around them and stuff like that. And it's like they're really like, you could take out virtually all of the jokes in Attack on Titan, and like there are like plenty of things that like could make you laugh and stuff, but like the show is never focused on that. And I think that comedy is very much something that cartoons are focused on, because they're seen as like being geared towards children, you know, and children are dumb and they'll only laugh at things that are dumb.
The thing about anime is that the at least the anime that I've seen is that they usually have an overarching story, but most of the cartoons that I've seen are usually like episodic. Like, let's use Star vs. Force of Evil as an example. It's like there is a story within it, but it's filled between a bunch of filler episodes like Steven Universe. But then you have like
I mean, I've seen plenty of anime that
that do that, but like do it less. Like you can take like My Hero Academia, which is like its story is much more.
Like I've seen plenty of anime that have a serialized storytelling format and an episodic format. Like a lot. Like there are virtually no shows that don't have like an overarching narrative. But like the difference between serialization and episodic is like in how they deliver those stories. So like in episodic, the difference is that in episodic there is a clear-cut ending at the end of each episode, and in serialization it's a continuous story from start. So like you could it's like, I think that all shows are best watched in marathon, because you just don't forget information from the last episode. It's just like you waste less time, you know, because like it's just like hit next episode instead of booting up whatever device you're watching the show on. It doesn't matter. But in episodic storytelling, there's like a clear-cut ending, and generally you can watch each episode. Like out of order a lot more. In serialized storytelling, you cannot do that or you will get confused. 16. That's actually like an episodic show that really doesn't have an overarching narrative, now that I think of it.
Danny Phantom. Like, that's a cartoon that doesn't have an overall story.
I guess you're kind of right. Yeah. I mean, so there are a lot more.
Danny Phantom kind of has like this generally overarching story.
Each
episode is different.
It didn't have a...
Every episode is different. It does have like a conclusive ending. There's always
it had a conclusive. It had a rushed conclusive ending.
We should like define this is like is if you took the ending out of the show, would it still like be could it still service as like a complete satisfying story, you know? And like with so like for example with 16, the ending is like the ending conflict is one of the characters, Nikki. Her parents need to go on like her dad gets a job and they need to move away, and there's a whole thing about her like deciding whether or not she's gonna go, and she ends up leaving. Spoilers. And in Danny Phantom, if I remember correctly, was it Vlad wanted to do something with like an asteroid, but it was headed straight for the planet or something like that, and they had to turn the entire world intangible or something like that.
Which shouldn't have worked in the first place, because if it was ghost-proof, like why did it go through the planet?
I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that if you took like the last couple episodes out of both of those shows, I still think that the show services perfectly fine like afterwards, or like if you were to go back and like look at the entire show, you could like for example 16, like every episode has a conclusive ending or whatever, and like after every episode I feel like after each episode of that show I feel like you could stop watching entirely and feel satisfied being like, yeah, I saw that show, I understood what it was about, yada yada yada, like so like that's, I guess, yeah, there really isn't an overarching narrative other than just like the constant, these characters are friends, they go to the same mall, but like I don't really count that as a story because like they're not, like there's nothing consistent within every single episode other than that, like the characters are friends and they go to the mall, So I guess that's how I would so I guess that's how I would describe it, versus like something like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where each episode does have a conclusive ending, but in each episode, they're constantly working towards the goal of defeating the Fire Lord. So you can watch things out of order and yada, 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 but like with each episode, there is always like the context that they're in of like, this is our end goal. Whereas in Danny Phantom and to a much more of an extent 16, you don't have that like, we are working towards this. We always have this in mind, even if we're not directly focusing on it in this episode, which tends to be present in lots of anime. Like it's in lots of anime, they are a lot more focused on getting to the final goal of like that season or whatever, and less, and they tend to be like a lot more focused. There are plenty of shows that do not focus on that and don't even really have that much, but that is a trend that I've noticed.
I mean, even still, if you take like one episode out of season 1 from Avatar: The Last Airbender and you watch from like season 3, you're going to be totally confused, because there's a lot that does happen.
I don't know.
But like, if you go to Danny Phantom and go to the middle of the episode,
like
if you saw episode 1, season 1, and then you saw like episode 1, season 3, you'd still be very confused, because like Zuko would be a good guy now. You'd miss out on a lot of...
You'd have the introduction.
But if you watch like a show like... If you watch a show like Danny Phantom, like in the middle, like the first episode of the 3rd season, you're just gonna get the same thing that you got from the first episode of the 1st season.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's the difference between like episodic and like
and that's
serial.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And versus like with something like 16, literally the characters like pretty much don't change at all between, and I think it's a great show. I think it's really enjoyable, but like I think there's like 7 seasons or something like that. I have no idea, but you could watch season 1, episode 1, then skip to any episode, I think, and it would like make sense, because like literally, because like like I said, the only constant in that show is that like the characters are friends, they go to the same mall, and like their personalities remain constant, So I think and that's not worse than, having characters continuously evolve and go through these arcs and stuff and learn lessons and all that, so long as it is entertaining to watch them from episode to episode, then, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, I guess, though there are lots of anime that have, like, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but, like, I would consider that to be pretty episodic, though, because, like, they're not really working towards a goal, it's very slice of life, though new characters do get introduced here and there, but in that case, it's just that, like, they show up, and then they're there, and they just kind of, like, interact with the rest of the characters. It's not like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they're constantly like, okay, this is our end goal, this is what we're constantly working towards, this is where we are in relation to getting to that goal, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I guess I would say that could definitely be a factor in determining whether you want to define what you want to define something as.
Definitely.
Yeah. Connor, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, not particularly. But you know what I can't stand about some animes?
What?
I can't stand some American dubs over animes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Four kids can suck my ass.
I watched.
Wait, what?
4 kids can suck my ass.
4 kids?
You're gonna want
I
to
don't know
reword
what that
that.
show is.
I'm not sure if that's
No,
gonna be.
4 kids is not an
YouTube
anime.
friendly.
It's a cartoon streaming.
I've probably heard of it.
And they stream several anime, like Sonic X and One Piece.
Hell yeah! Sonic X was my jam.
Yeah, Sonic X, One Piece, and others. Those are just the only 2 I know on the top of my head that they ruined.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Sonic Underground. Sonic Underground was my jam.
Ah, yes. A lot of people are like, it's terrible, but I'm like, it's not as bad as you think.
I don't even care about the quality of the show. I haven't seen it in forever, but it's still the best show ever.
Yeah, so like.
Yeah, I guess. Well, you know what? That brings me to my next point. What's your favorite cartoon and anime, or both? I guess for me, I would say Avatar: The Last Airbender. For me, I guess if I'm considering that a cartoon, I'd say obviously Avatar: The Last Airbender. Favorite anime, I would probably have to say. I can't think of one at the moment. Sure, give your opinions, Andrew, Lily, and Connor, while I think. What's your favorite show?
Oh,
what's your favorite?
Of
like anime or cartoon or
Both.
like show
Both.
in general?
Both, or in general, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you know.
I don't know.
Ugh,
I think
a show that I like. I really like How I Met Your Mother.
That's the best anime.
I know, right?
I literally okay. Just a few days ago, I've been rewatching How I Met Your Mother since it came out. Yeah, I think I've rewatched it like a dozen times. I've seen every episode so many times. But I was literally rewatching it, and I got to that moment where future Ted goes he has so many fucking quotable lines, but he says kids, you will be shocked when you find out how easy it is to lose touch with people and forget about them forever, something along those lines. Then he says that's why when you find someone you want to keep around, you do something about it. And I was like, fuck yeah, that is advice that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. That is partially why I founded the Zoomercast, because I want to have this be a consistent thing for all of us to actually just converse constantly, like, not lose touch of each other, because I like you guys, all right? You guys, I'm gay for all of you guys.
That's your first mistake.
Yeah, I know, but like, that is, like, what I define when I, like, say, like, what's a 10 out of 10 show, and, like, How I Met Your Mother, that was the moment when I realized that, like, yes, this is a 10 out of 10 show. First of all, I need to have seen a show at least twice to determine whether it's a 10 out of 10, and it has to literally change my life. Like, I need to make life-changing decisions based on the lessons I learned from a show, or based on anything from the show. And, like, How I Met Your Mother, that was the moment that I realized, this was, like, just a month ago, I think, maybe not even, that I was like, that is, like, it fits the criteria.
Man, I was watching this anime, and I saw this guy lick a flagpole, and now I am totally gonna go lick a flagpole.
10 out of 10. Are you talking about A Christmas Story?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Although Shrek is a great anime. Just personally, I believe that
Hell yeah.
Shrek is one of the better animes. Not only because it has a deep, compelling story, but it also has deep life lessons. Except for, I have one problem with the show. They make fun of Farquaad for being short, but the whole show is about, like, loving yourself for who you are. So, I mean...
Well, yeah, but you're allowed to love yourself unless you're short. That's the lesson. Obviously. Come on, Andrew.
If you're short, you should hate yourself. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're green and you're a monster and stuff like that and you live in the swamp, like, yeah, learn to love yourself. Duh, everyone should. But, like, if you're short, then, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
We hate you.
I really hope
Bro,
this
y'all
doesn't
like-
come up during a
y'all like far-
If you're short, we hate you.
Farquaad.
Your boss is like... His nose is just, like, barely... His nose is just, like, barely... Oh, my...
All right,
mother.
so, if you're short, you hate people. Is this something that you find funny?
Well, at the time. Yeah, I think that cartoons in general would be I think that what makes shows like this appealing, cartoons and anime, in the idea, because I never really answered my I mean I prompted the question, but I kind of had an answer, is that like I think that the reason that they're primarily appealing is because like the concept of like animation makes it like not reality, and like intrinsically it is something that you can like allow yourself to immerse yourself into like a fantasy world, and just like it's easier for like in live action it's harder to just like it may be easier to like immerse yourself and believe that like the characters that you're watching on screen are real, but it's harder to believe that like it's taking place in a universe that you do not exist in, you know? Like when I watch How I Met Your Mother, like, I mean, given it in that show, it takes place on Earth in New York City with human beings, you know, who like are believable characters and stuff like that. So I guess a better example would be like fucking I don't know, some the Avengers or something. Yeah, the Avengers, where like superheroes exist, and like it does exist on planet Earth and all that, but like I like watching the Avengers, I don't feel like a Spider-Man or an Iron Man or a Hulk like actually exists, you know? But like I can much more easily imagine that somebody like Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother, or I guess like Chandler and, you know, from Friends, like the characters from Friends, like I can more believably believe that they like actually exist, you know? So it's easier for me to like immerse myself in that narrative. But when it comes to shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it doesn't take place on Earth, you know, it does it like the characters are obviously not supposed to. I'm obviously not supposed to like think that Aang or feel like Aang and like the rest of the gang is real. Oh no, I figured out how to word this. It's that when I'm watching a show like How I Met Your Mother, I feel like they're in the same world as me, but when I'm watching a show like Avatar: The Last Airbender, I feel like I'm in the same world as them. Obviously, if the show is able to immerse me well. Andrew's doing the mind blow. I worded it perfectly. So like it's like immersing yourself in a different world is like such a huge, like a way different feeling than like believing that the characters you're watching could exist in your world, in like on planet Earth and stuff. And so it's just like cartoons and anime have that intrinsic value because they don't look like reality, you know? So you can be like, so this is why you know, projecting yourself onto a cartoon character is so much more fun than projecting yourself onto, in my opinion, and then projecting yourself onto like a live action character, because it's just like, it's intrinsically more interesting. It's inherently more interesting to be like, yeah, I'm going off to this other world, you know, where like things are different and like, and you know, and the backgrounds are super, and everybody everywhere is super colorful, and there's crazy hairstyles and a bunch of different insane body types and superpowers everywhere or whatever. And it's easier to imagine that like you being in that world as it exists would be like interesting, you know? So I think, and I'd say that's partially the appeal. For me, anyway.
Yeah. You went on a long tangent. Wow.
I know.
Rant. We're not even saying things at this point.
The rest of the podcast is just going to devolve into grunts and moans. Let's talk about how.
Wait! You can't move on yet.
I want to talk about cheese.
What?
You can't move on yet because you asked the question. What's all your guys' favorite cartoons and anime? And like you were like the only one who
fucking answered it. Answer it right now. My favorite cartoon is Avatar: The Last Airbender. My favorite anime is fucking Sword Art Online. 10 out of 10.
Didn't you say you hate Sword Art Online?
It's so bad.
Opinion.
You know, Chris, there's a lot of controversy around whether Avatar
Andrew,
is
or
anime.
Connor or Lily. Tell me your favorite right now. Well, what did you say?
I said
I don't really have a current favorite.
Just like for favorite
cartoon.
shows.
I couldn't hear you
Favorite
over my
anime.
massive ego.
Yeah. Favorite anime, I'd probably go like Attack on Titan or something.
Okay.
I don't really have a
like
a favorite cartoon or anime, but I have like a
Lily.
current favorite because like it constantly changes depending on what I'm freaking watching.
Yeah, my top 10 and top 5 are constantly changing.
Yeah, so like right now, My Hero Academia is one of my favorites that I'm watching right.
Totally
That
forgot about that.
but that will that can change eventually. And my favorite cartoon, wow, it's shifting too much. I'm just gonna go with Sonic Underground.
Nice, good choice. Good choice.
Because it was the most recent cartoon I've seen.
I don't know why I'm racking my brain so hard to try and think of my favorite anime. Let's see.
Connor?
Yeah. My favorite anime is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Alright, yeah, fair enough.
My favorite cartoon's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wow, I see how it is.
No, it's just the
Mrs.
same.
So,
Could you don't?
You pleb.
Let's see. I just fucking finished.
Do you have a Crunchyroll subscription?
Yeah, I do. I'm just literally looking through my. I'm literally just like looking through my entire history, and being like, what are all of the shows I've even fucking seen?
Fairy Tail's pretty good.
Fairy Tail.
No, Fairy Tail is trash.
Shut up, it's good. I like it.
You're trash.
It's just basically
I mean,
hentai.
Ding dong, your opinion is wrong.
It's terrible. Your opinion is wrong.
Splash.
Dude, the entire
Every single problem in that show is solved by the power of friendship. They just fucking power up because they love their friends so much. That's every single plot line.
Fairy Tail is just a whole
I
bunch
never
of fan
finished the
service.
plot line of the show. Maybe that's why.
That's literally every single plot line. Oh, Gurren Lagann. That's my favorite anime. I just saw it.
Just gotta switch that real quick.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty then.
Dude, Fairy Tail is just fan service. That's the entire thing.
I don't know, it has a...
There is literally two body types. There is the thin-waisted, wide-hipped, big-breasted girl, and they all have, and literally all of they are literally the exact same body type, the exact same facial structure, except for their hairstyle and their eye color. Other than that, they're all literally the same. I'm not exaggerating. And then two, there is Lolly. And there's like one Lolly character who gets introduced in like season 3 or some shit. I never watched that far. I watched season 1 as a kid, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world because it was the only show I'd seen. And then I watched it again, and I watched it again recently. I watched season 1, and I like barely got. I had to force myself to watch through season 1. And there's like 40 episodes. It was a slog. It's so boring. The art is literally just One Piece but worse, and it's horrible. It's the worst. I hate it.
Well, alrighty then.
It has a special place in my heart because it's the first anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, same. I hate it, but I'm also really glad that it and Sword Art Online exist because those are the show. Like when I was dumb enough to enjoy them, that's what made me be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find so many more shows that are like these ones, and I'm gonna enjoy them so much more, and all that, and that's what got me into anime, and so I wouldn't have discovered.
You were the one that forced me to watch Fairy Tail, and after I finished the season of Fairy Tail, you're like,
yeah, it's animation.
Chris,
Yeah.
you were the one that was
what?
who basically forced me to watch Fairy Tail. Like you'd bombard me like every day in school, like, have you seen it yet? Have you seen it yet? Have you seen it yet? And after I watched like a season, you're like, okay, now you gotta watch these 3, and you give me Sword Art Online and Soul Eater, and I'm like, okay.
Hey, 1 out of 3. I got 1 out of 3 right, alright? That's 33% on a test. That's a passing grade, right?
No. Maybe at the public school. Okay, I got like
it's fine. Society has a bunch of safety nets.
I got like a B+ once, and people got mad at me.
What people?
like parents mostly, but like this one teacher said,
People.
you really need to try harder. And I'm like, it's a B+.
You're not doing hard enough if you do not have an A+ squared.
But I can.
Andrew, if you're obviously not working hard enough. If you don't have an A+ squared, then what are you doing?
A+ squared.
I mean, at my grade in history.
Then what are you even doing?
Yeah, just Microsoft account problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, Leslie, but it appears you have Wi-Fi connectivity issues.
Connor, I don't think you ever answered the question. What's your favorite cartoon?
He did.
Oh yeah, he said
I
Avatar:
did.
The Last Airbender.
Just
Good
weren't
choice.
Listening.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
Open your ears.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Let me check my notes. I'm pretty sure I had one more thing. I had one more point to make. Anime and cartoons inspires me to improve my artistic abilities.
True.
Can't relate.
You get, and I don't just mean drawing and painting and all that, but like writing. I really want to get into like writing and analysis and stuff, and like I consider analysis like a kind of artistic ability.
Depends on who you ask.
And it's like, and what's nice about this specifically with anime is that there's so much anime. Like I think that's another distinction that we can make, and not like between like one specific show versus cartoons, but like I find in general there is like way more anime being created way faster than there is cartoons. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there are a bunch of cartoons that are going on air for like one season and then getting canceled or something like that. But like every season, like just on Crunchyroll alone, and like I'm pretty sure Crunchyroll doesn't even have every show that comes out every season. But like Crunchyroll, I want to say there's like at least a dozen, like, even more than that, probably like 20 or 30 shows that come out every season. And like seasons, I'm pretty sure are like quarterly. Like there's spring, summer, fall, and winter seasons. So that's like literally 100 new shows every year. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you're also getting like really mediocre shows.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Cartoons.
Like, yeah.
No, I'm talking more like cartoons. Like
Oh.
you're getting really mediocre cartoons that just like aren't really known. Like if you're ever just super bored and you're sitting there just scrolling through like Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, you're gonna get like weird shows like The Loud House, because that's a thing, or just random different kind of mediocre cartoons that, you know, people aren't really enjoying, and so it's not really getting as big as, say, things on Crunchyroll would, because there's also not something similar for cartoons. Otherwise, people would be...
The beginning of The Loud House sounds like a porno. It goes 12 girls, 1 boy, wouldn't change it for the world. I'm like, what the fuck?
Man, it's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
It is, dude.
13 chillins.
Use a condom.
But
And
Use a
it's
condom,
basically
dude.
a cartoon version of like 21 and counting.
Those are rookie numbers. They need to pump those numbers up. If you don't
those
have,
are casual numbers.
if you don't have at least 57 kids, are you even trying?
We were being outclassed by the people in the Middle Ages. Not the Middle Ages were more than 100 years ago. 400 years ago. We gotta step our game up.
Heck, back in the
meta has
1800s, they were
devolved.
having like tons of kids.
Yeah.
Like,
They were having like 6 children at the least.
there are families at my school that have 12.
Wait, really?
Really?
Yeah, well, there's one.
There's one.
I mean, my dad has 6
Families that have
sisters.
12. Okay, 1.
There's one, but I think the closest is 10 and then 8.
I mean,
Damn.
my dad has
And then
several
it's consistently around the 6 to 8 area.
Jeez. Are you serious? You're not shitting us.
No.
Oh my god.
I mean, perks of the Catholic school, am I right?
Wow.
Hell yeah.
My God.
I mean, I thought that
not-
I
it's
thought
not
that my
lots
dad
of
had a
kids.
lot of siblings.
I remember hearing some statistics, and one was like, okay, so this family is going to make up about a fourth of the school if they keep having kids at
What?
this rate.
What?
A fourth of the school?
There are multiple branches of the family that sends their kid to the
I
school.
thought you meant like
Ignore
one
the crunching.
couple?
Ignore the crunching.
That would literally be like hundreds of kids. Well, depending on the school, but like
It'd only be 25 kids.
oh, only 25. Okay. Sorry, I didn't.
Only 25? Crunch the numbers up.
You mean 25 squared?
I mean, yeah, obviously.
My mistake.
I mean, there's only like 100 kids.
Anime inspires me to have lots of kids.
Anime inspires me to have this conversation.
Have any of you guys seen the movie Idiocracy?
No.
No.
What is it?
It's basically about how the cycle, like in the next 5 generations, everyone's gonna be complete retards because all the retards are like having children. Like idiots have the most kids.
Yeah, that's
because they like cheat and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Well, yeah,
so
but then,
it's so in the
idiots
future,
raise
like
their
smart
children
people.
to be idiots, and then they die.
Yeah.
No, but like because of the human race.
Yeah, but imagine look at all these pregnant 16-year-olds on YouTube.
Anyways,
Like and their kids are gonna have 16-year-old pregnant whatevers, and then they keep
Exactly.
the cycle
And
keeps
They'll
going
have
on.
like one
Then
kid.
they're
Nope, they'll have more than one kid.
completely
Believe me, they'll have more than
reversing
one
the
kid.
order of our sentences.
and then like you think about it, like, and then smart
Why is it
people are
like
like
that?
thinking like
So that's
we have to wait for the right time. We're not financially.
God wants it to be.
People are thinking like smart people are like we're not financially stable. We can't do
So
it.
like people who are financially stable only have like one kid,
There
but then the
are,
idiots have like
African
13.
cultures that think like it's weird if you don't have children like before you're 16.
Oh yeah.
It's weird as frick.
You mean Turkey?
Pump out those kiddos.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why there's not enough.
Pump out those kiddos in those
think
kiddos.
I saw I'm pretty sure no I misheard somebody was making an anti-vax mom joke or whatever. And I thought they said like we need to stop vaccinating they said we need to stop vaccinating children because they cause autism. And I thought that the they was in reference to the children, not the vaccines. And I was like, that sentence kind of makes sense. Like, children cause autism, so don't vaccinate them so they die. That was a great conversation.
You know
Think
what?
about it. The Amish don't vaccinate their kids, and they're still around.
Oh my god, the Amish ride
Me
my
and-
carriages.
Furniture.
Me and my 12 dead brothers went off of non-vaccination. I will damn if my
that
grandchildren.
you're also dead, like you and your like me and my 12 dead brothers.
We all have ceased to exist, but we're still making that furniture. Mom and Dad
And riding our horse-drawn carriages.
This isn't river water. Me and my 12
Yeehaw.
dead brothers.
That's what the
Liver
Amish
of
sound
dog.
I
like.
had
Talk.
never ever seen an
If
Amish.
it isn't river water, I don't want it.
I have never seen an Amish person in real life
That
until like
6-inch
a month
layer of
ago.
algae, that's how you know it's good.
Okay, so apparently, like, Amtrak is still a big thing.
What is Amtrak?
It's a train company.
Okay.
And so, like, they're doing trains. And, like, they're
Really?
pretty modern trains. Like, they have air conditioning, like, food bars and everything. But Amish people go on them because technically it counts as something they can do. Like,
Okay.
Because it's old.
It's really weird. And so I was taking, like, this trip out to Wyoming with my Boy Scout troop. And there was a whole bunch of Amish people. And so I asked them, hey, this is a pretty modern train.
and you leaned over to your instructor and you're like, hey, we gotta start another crusade.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, there's a lot of Amish people on this train. And so I'm talking to people, and they're like, yeah, it's the one thing they can do. And I'm just like,
Did you know that
okay.
Amish people
I guess
are
when the
allowed?
Amish people from Pennsylvania are going to visit their friends in Washington.
All jokes, Amish people, we love you.
Yeah.
They're not watching this.
Amish people.
Yeah.
Let's get some Amish anime. Alright, I wanna see that shit.
Okay.
Do you know
Wait, they probably can't
some
use
Amish people?
computers, can
they?
Amish people.
can't.
How are we gonna do
They'll
this?
draw it, and then we'll take it.
They'll draw it on pieces of paper and then we'll take it and
They'll make, like, flip booklets.
Yeah!
It's
yeah,
not a
flip
flip book.
booklets of anime! Amish flip booklets booklet anime.
That's how the
That'd be
Amish watch
awesome.
anime. It's a flip book.
That'd be radical.
And it's like, this is just like the manga, but it's in motion.
It moves. If it moves faster than 3 miles an hour, it's the devil's work.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I'm all talked out. Let's. All right.
Fortnite is
closing
my
thoughts,
favorite anime.
What was that?
Fortnite's my favorite anime.
Closing thoughts.
Fortnite.
Wait, but the real question.
I saw a Twitter post from Esam. He's a professional Smash player, and he goes I had a dream that the Grim Reaper came to my house and said that he was going to take my soul unless I could tell him Thanos' last name. And I said, Thanos Fortnite. and the Grim Reaper let me live.
No, you see,
Thanos Fortnite, it's confirmed.
talking about this one or this one?
Both.
But I like this one personally.
Yeah, okay. I like anime. I think more people should be willing to watch more, and I think a lot of people will like watch even for people who like get it, who like
the Infinity Cosmic Brownies
cartoons. I think a lot of people will like get entrenched in like, this is the kind of genre that I like. I only will watch these kinds of shows unless the characters have to have this kind of art style or whatever, because this is what appeals to me. And like, that's totally fine. But those people tend to not like venture out and like try a variety of different shows, and I wish that they would, because then you might find something that you do enjoy, you know? Like I initially thought that I only enjoyed like action shonen stuff because I watched like Fairy Tail first, and I was like, this is the greatest shit in the world. And then I watched Sword Art Online, and I was like, I only want to watch shows that are about video games. And then I watched like Soul Eater, and I was like, I only want to watch shows where people die. And I mean, like,
did you start out with Naruto though?
I did. No, actually, it took me a while to watch Naruto. I didn't watch Naruto until I was like 13 or 14.
I've only seen like 3 episodes of Naruto.
Anime really young because my sister watched Fruits Basket, and I was like 9 or something. And
I
then
remember you actually started me on anime because you're like,
One Punch Man, right?
No, Naruto. You're like, hey, let's come over and play this Naruto video game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fucking Naruto Shippuden, Clash of Ninja Revolution 3, my jam.
Like, I had known Chris for like a day, and then he's like, have you seen Fairy Tail? And I'm like, no. And he's like, watch it. And for the next year, and for literally the next year, every day, have you seen it yet? Yeah. Have you seen it yet? And the answer was no until my uncle came over and watched Fairy Tail, and I watched it with him.
I remember our mutual friend Noah. And I'm fine with saying his name because I don't care if he gets harassed online. I annoyed him for literally 6 months. At least once a week, I would tell him to watch One Punch Man, which is an amazing show, and it's great. He still hasn't seen it. I hate him for it. I want him to go burn in hell!
I haven't seen it either. I haven't found the...
Go burn! Okay, well, I haven't been annoying you for that long to see it.
Yeah,
it's great. It's amazing, and it's hilarious, and I love it. Yeah. It's like season 1 is like an 8.5 out of 10.
You say that like it's terrible.
I'm all talked out, so... Yeah, anybody else got anything else to say?
No.
Nibba.
Alright. Well, thank you everybody for listening. This has been the Zoomercast. I'm Chris.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Lily.
I'm someone.
I exist.
I forgot
I'm a human.
who I was.
I am human.
Yeah.
Hasta la pasta.
Yeah, alright. Links to all the shit that we sent each other during this podcast will be in the description. Thanks for watching. We'll see. Oh, yeah, I forgot to say, I guess this isn't related to anime or cartoons at all, but just like the Zoomercast as a whole. But like, I think we should set up like a way to have like consistent uploads. So I think what we should do is like every week or so, we should have like a designated time every week. So like, you know, let's say like Saturday at 3 p.m. or something every week. It's just like, if you show up at like on Saturday at 3 p.m., then like we'll record a podcast about whatever it is that week. If you don't show up, if no one shows up, then like there just won't be a podcast that week or whatever. So like that'll just kind of be our window, so that we don't have to like continuously just like notify each other all the time to be like, yeah, let's set up a time. Then everybody has to like confirm when they're available and stuff. We can just have like a, you know, if you're not available on Saturday 3 p.m., too bad. Or whatever. And then like, and like if only one person shows up, then like it'll be a one person podcast, I guess. I don't know. Does that sound okay to everybody?
Yeah, why not?
It's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll upload again in a week. For once.
If I'm not dead.
All right.
If we're
Thank
not.
everybody for watching. Check out all links in the description. Everybody who's been here. We'll see you next time. And bye-bye.
Bye.